So I think we can start. So good morning, distinguished guests and colleagues. Bonjour aux délégués des pays francophones. I'm very delighted to welcome you today to this meeting. We are in one of the three buildings composing the campus of Unimarconi. This is the building hosting the main auditorium, the Multimedia Production Center, and the International Students' House. Unimarconi is the first Italian digital university that was officially accredited by the Ministry of University and Research in 2004. It has now currently approximately 25,000 students, with 3,000 from abroad. We offer programs in different learning modes: asynchronous, synchronous, hybrid, and also, in some occasions, fully in presence, thanks to our facilities, especially in the postgraduate segment. Firstly, I have to apologize on behalf of our executive president, Alessio Comanni. Unfortunately, he has been suffering from a severe illness since last Friday, and he's still recovering at home. In any case, he sends us his best wishes for a successful event. An event that has a twofold objective. First, to present the operational roadmap that guides the strategic partnership between Unimarconi and the Pan-African University. And second, to reflect on how a closer collaboration between Europe and Africa is not only desirable, but increasingly essential, given to the complexity of the current global landscape and the historical, cultural, and economic ties they share. In doing so, we will pay particular attention to the role of digitalization and education in this evolving partnership, outlining the actions and the objectives of this agreement between Unimarconi and Pan-African University. This partnership will also be a meaningful basis in order to reflect on the role that Italy can play as a natural bridge between the two continents. I would like to thank all the guests, high-profile panelists, people that are connected from abroad in a remote way through Zoom. Especially, there is a group from different ministries from Congo, Kinshasa. So it's a very pleasure to have you all here with us this morning. And I would like to start with an institutional greeting. So I invite the Undersecretary of State, Mr. Giorgio Silli, to address the audience. Mr. Giorgio Silli's speech will help us understand how today's conversation aligns with the objectives of the Italian governmental Mattei plan, and also with this collaboration between Europe and Africa. Please, Mr. Silli.
Nous allons parler en anglais, ok? Grazie mille. I just would like to thank the University Guglielmo Marconi for giving me the opportunity to open this conference and share Italy's approach towards Africa and Italy's main operational framework in the continent, the Mattei Plan. Italian foreign policy considers Africa a top priority, and the consolidation of peace, stability, and growth in the continent is at the heart of our renewed commitment. To attain these objectives, Italy has developed a comprehensive strategy based on dialogue and the pursuit of common ground and interest: energy security, food security, migration management, the fight against terrorism, armed conflicts, and hybrid threats, obviously, economic opportunities, and geopolitical projection. Aware of the link between peace, inclusive development, and security and stability, we follow a 360-degree approach covering both the traditional instruments of military and security cooperation, as well as those of development cooperation and strengthening public governance and institutions. In this regard, we support capacity building initiatives to promote good administration and good governance, working together with partners from the European Union, the G7 and the African continent to address, from an African perspective, the root causes of instability and to foster growth in African countries. On this basis, we want to provide concrete answers to the expectation of our African partners to counter the penetration of alternative models. In line with such approach, the Mattei Plan for Africa, strongly supported by our Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, and the Italian government represents the strategic framework for our commitment. It's a paradigm shift that focuses on equal partnership, sustainability, mutual respect, and shared growth. Within this framework, digital transformation plays an increasingly central role in supporting the skills needed for Africa's economic and technological transformation. Its initiatives are designed and implemented together with African partners, responding to real needs identified jointly, creating local employment, transferring skills and technologies, and generating sustainable development. Italy's participation in the creation of the Lobito Corridor, in collaboration with the European Union, the creation of Artificial Intelligence Hub for Sustainable Development, launched during the Italian presidency of G7, and all the major projects to transform African agricultural systems are a good representation of the Mattei Plan's ambition to create inclusive platforms for the promotion of broad partnership capable of multiplying the resources available. Over the years, Italian development cooperation has implemented education and training projects that have left a concrete and lasting impact. Education, more than anything else, can permanently change a young person's life, leaving an everlasting mark. The results are visible. Renovated schools, trained teachers, young people prepared for new profession, and public officials capable of guiding reform processes. I do really think that we have to put some seeds in the ground, because government can change, but if you put some seed in the ground, the seed will grow up, especially if we invest resources in education and in university cooperation. We do really have to build up the future together, brick over brick, in a complementary way. A concrete example of this vision is the initiative aimed at strengthening primary education in Côte d'Ivoire, financed with a 10 million grant by Italian cooperation. This project aimed to improve access and the quality of primary education, with particular attention to teacher training, the creation of inclusive learning environments, and the support for local communities. Other examples includes two major initiatives under the Mattei Plan complex, and ambitious regional project designed to deliver significant impact. I refer the important agricultural project, TANIT in Tunisia, for instance, and to the program for improving the coffee value chain across Africa, potentially involving all 25 producing countries. This program, which will initially involve Tunisia, Kenya, Ethiopia, and Côte d'Ivoire, aim to work with partner countries to strengthen the training and the digital skills of managers and civil servants, with the goal of improving public services and building more solid and transparent institutions. A competent public administration is indeed the backbone of any sustainable development policy. In this context, we must underscore the important role of Italian universities, strategic partners with whom we have already implemented and continue to implement numerous projects. Universities play a crucial role in the design, implementation, and monitoring of initiatives. They are key partners, not only in training projects, but also in capacity building activities across many other sectors. I thank you all for the attention and for the contribution you have brought to this dialogue. We will continue working together and using digital technologies to strengthen educational cooperation and skill development in our country partners. Grazie. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Silli, for this wonderful speech, and also for giving us very insightful inputs for the continuation of this event. I would like to underline 2 or 3 points that were mentioned by Mr. Silli. The first one is they need to have concrete actions. The second is the importance of the alignment of the Mattei Plan with the European Global Gateway. And the third is the importance, of course, of education. It's important to say that this event is taking place at the moment of transformation of the global political landscape, as I told you before. Transformation which is provoking profound and deep changes. Since the beginning of Trump's second term, the international order that was resulted by, from the Second World War, historically grounded on multilateralism and cooperative diplomacy, has now become fragile and uncertain. So the need to have partnerships between and among regions and nations that share the same values has never become more urgent. For too long, the cooperation between Europe and Africa has been viewed through the lens of aid, but Africa today doesn't seek for assistance. Africa seeks for equal partnerships shared on, based on shared responsibility. So this is basically what the Mattei Plan wants to convey. This is one of the principles at the core of the Mattei Plan: co-creation with African stakeholders, and actions based on results and tangible and measurable outcomes. This is important to bear in mind also for the next presentations that we are going to see. Unfortunately, the Honorable Gian Giacomo Calovini, who is the rapporteur of the Mattei Plan at the Italian Chamber of Deputies, cannot join us today because of some meetings that he has today. We are at the end of the year, and unfortunately, or fortunately, there is a budget law to be issued at the national level. So he's involved in this in those meetings this morning. But the Mattei Plan is there in order to push this collaboration between Italy and Africa and Europe and Africa. Now it's the turn of our guest from the Pan-African University. It's a great pleasure for me to invite Professor Jean Koulidiati, rector of the Pan-African University, who already visited our university last year on the occasion of the launch of our Observatory on Artificial Intelligence. Professor Koulidiati will give us a Pan-African vision on how education and digitalization will impact Africa. Please, Professor Koulidiati.
Good morning, bonjour. Je suis francophone, mais je vais essayer de parler en anglais. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear Arturo, it is a great honor to be with you today in Roma. Thank you for hosting us and for the opportunity to share the story of the Pan-African University, PAU. I bring greetings from Her Excellency, Prof. Gaspar Bayankibona, Commissioner for Education, Science, Technology, and Innovation at the African Union Commission. Let me tell you about what we are building at the PAU. We are an African Union initiative to revitalize higher education and research across our continent. Launched in December 2011, our mission is to provide quality postgraduate education that will help build a prosperous, integrated, and drive our transformation. Our research addresses Africa's real challenges: water security, renewable energy, agriculture, agricultural productivity, climate change, governance system, and public health, all align with the Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. Beyond research, we are fostering innovation and entrepreneurship. We support from the Africa Development Bank. We have established innovation incubator at our institute. The African Development Bank provide our initial grant for $45 million and contributes supporting us through phase 2 of the Pan-African University support projects. Digital education is also central of our vision. In 2019, we launched the Pan-African Virtual and E-Learning and E-University, PAVEU, one of the Agenda 2063's flagship program. PAVEU uses digital technology to expand access to quality higher education across Africa. We are currently strengthening its capacity with support from partners like VMware, UNESCO, the African Virtual University, and the Global E-Schools and Communities Initiative. None of this will be possible without partnership. Japan supports us through Hiroshima University and UNESCO International Institute for Capacity Building in Africa. China partners with us through the Association of African Universities. We work with CAMES on quality assurance, with Obreal Global on internationalization, and with many other partners who share our vision. Today marks an important new chapter. Italy's Mattei Plan recognizes education, innovation, and partnership as key pillars of cooperation with Africa, perfectly aligned with our mission with Unimarconi as Italy's first digital university, bring exactly the expertise we need to strengthen PAVEU and expand digital education. Together, we will develop joint master's program, create an artificial intelligence capacity building toolkits for school across Africa, co-develop online courses, and work on digital infrastructure and accreditation support. The Pan-African University is still young, but our over 2,500 graduates prove that African students can compete at the highest level. We are building an Africa where quality education is right for all talented young people, where university generates to knowledge our continent needs. We are grateful to have partnered with you, University Unimarconi, working this journey with us. Thank you for your attention, and thank you for believing in Africa's future.
Merci beaucoup, Jean. Thank you very much. This collaboration with the Pan-African University is for us crucial, because the Pan-African University is the university of the African Union, and when we signed the agreement, we signed it directly with the African Union. So we are at the core of the policy at a Pan-African level that we can support through this collaboration, especially, of course, concerning education and research. I would like to add just a brief consideration about Africa. Of course, when we are going to speak in terms of digital education, digitalization, connectivity, etc., we have to bear in mind that there are still some weaknesses present in Africa. There are unsolved structural and infrastructural weaknesses, such as, for example, electricity access gap in some areas, especially in the sub-Saharan countries, connectivity, also political instability, conflicts. But it's important to leverage the positive trends that we see in that continent, and also the potential of a young population that by 2030 will be 40% of the total young population in the world. And also another important element, last year in 2024, 11 out of the 20 fastest growing economies worldwide were African. So it's clear that Africa, I see my friend Stefano Falciani that say yes, because he knows very well the economic data concerning Africa. So it's important to balance the negative trends and positive trends, but for sure there is an optimism for the implementation of good and strong actions in the country. Of course, another important point touched by Professor Guglielminetti is the importance of education in all its forms, because education is a fundamental socioeconomic driver of development. This is also truer in a sector like agriculture, which is still the backbone of many African economies, contributing to employment, to food security, and to economic stability. So equipping farmers, agribusiness researchers, students with the necessary skills and knowledge is pivotal. And I think that a massive work in this respect is made by the e-learning, the FAO e-learning academy, not only in agriculture, also in other sectors, which is led by my friend Cristina Petracchi. So I'm very happy to leave the floor to Cristina in order to tell us a little bit something about the e-learning academy of FAO activities and objectives. Please, Cristina.
Thank you all. Thank you to University Marconi for the invitation, especially also to Arturo Lavalle, and thank you all for this opportunity. So what I wanted to do today is to talk to you a little bit about what the FAO e-learning academy is and how we could work together with Marconi, but also with all the different African countries to try to support the transformation of agri-food system, to try to support digital education. And so let's first see. So what is the FAO e-learning academy? This is a platform that offers free, multilingual, and certified courses. The courses have the objective to support the transfer of skills and competences. So the courses are all competency-based, and there is also a certificate of a UN official certificate of competences that is granted by FAO once you do the courses. So we have reached so far 1.4 million professionals in the world that have been using it. We are working with many universities in the world. We're working with many universities in Africa, where the universities integrate the courses as part of their learning programs. And so for the students, it's a huge advantage because they get from one side a university degree and from the other a certificate from FAO, from the UN. So this is not only FAO, this is a platform that has been developed for years together with many partners in the world. So we have research centers, universities contributing, but also governments, NGOs, farmers' organizations. According to the thematic area, we work with different partners in the world. And the idea is really universal education. So being able to provide education to everyone at any time, everywhere in the world. So as I was mentioning, universal education. Education as a human right, basically. We are trying to be inclusive, so we're promoting social inclusion, we're promoting gender inclusion, allowing also professionals in marginalized areas, people in remote areas where there is no connectivity, people in conflict, in post-conflict. And we allow people also to download the course so that after you can use it offline, basically. So the idea is really to give the equal opportunities to everyone in the world. And we are using, of course, an environmentally friendly system, basically. So what we're also trying to do is to bridge the gap between formal and informal education. We are trying to reach the professionals who are already working locally and allowing them to be more competent, more competitive, and to directly contribute locally without having to migrate to study. You can work from wherever you are, have access to the competences you need. And by picking and choosing the various courses and the various thematic areas, you can acquire the skills you need locally, basically from anywhere. So I wanted to mention also our partnerships. So I told you that this is not only a FAO platform. This is a platform with over 1,000 partners worldwide. So who are these partners? We can divide them in 4 categories. So, of course, UN, but also regional organizations, NEPAD, ECOWAS, SILS. We work with all of these institutions. We are also working with the Africa Union, especially on plant health issues, plant health and plant risk management. We're working a lot on this with the Africa Union. We're working also with the International Federation of Red Cross, so with many regional organizations. Then the second category is universities. With universities, this is the perfect marriage, basically, because with many universities, we work together. We try to understand their course syllabus and their needs, and we match the different courses that are pertinent to their programs. And the universities integrate our courses as part of the program. So the universities attribute credits to the courses, and for the students it's a huge advantage because they get 2 certifications, basically. So with universities, we work a lot with Roof Forum, which is a huge network of universities in Africa, but we also work with many others in the world. We work a lot with CSOs, civil society organizations, non-governmental organizations, farmers' organizations. And then we are noticing also a lot of interest from private sector. Private sector, they're very interested in everything related to food loss, food waste, sustainable value chains. So these are the thematic areas. So just very briefly, what are the courses about? And this is important for you to know. So we cover 25 different thematic areas. So, of course, nutrition, food security, but also sanitation, health, also sustainable forestry, fisheries, aquaculture, trade, international trade, but also soils restoration, water management. So you can really pick and choose the various areas of interest. We also have courses for farmers, so farmer field schools, and so you can have access to all of this through the link. It's very easy. It's elearning.fao.org. We use different methodologies. I'm not going to go too much into this, but just to tell you that we have specific programs that are for people in remote areas, and they are all mobile, so people can have access to the content directly through a mobile, and these courses have to be really tailored for this. We also do MOOCs, we have university programs, we also do face-to-face blended learning programs, so have a look. Of course, when we do these, we of course have synchronous, asynchronous activities, etc. But I'm not going to go too much into these details. But just to tell you to have a look, we also have a program of international webinars that you can have access to on the website directly. And we also collect the statistics related to the webinars, etc. Now, I would like to conclude with the certification system, because I talked to you about the fact that people also obtain an official UN certificate. So this is possible because the courses, what we do is we do a competency gap analysis before designing the courses. So we try to understand what is needed in the countries, what are the professional profiles that are needed, and the courses are developed based on that. And then we are using the digital badge certification system, which is transferable, shareable, stackable, and you can, once you earn your digital badge, you can carry it in your LinkedIn, in your e-portfolio, in your CV. It becomes part of your pool of competences. And actually, students can actually create their own professional learning path by doing different courses, multidisciplinary. So this is very versatile. And the digital badge system is, there is a database behind. You have all your metadata, the competences you've acquired, the courses you've done, etc. These are some examples of digital badges. Yeah, that we are releasing. So that's all from my side. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I really look forward to interacting with you. So if you have any questions, please. This is my favorite part. So if you have any questions, you're welcome. I would be really pleased to try to answer. Thank you. Sorry? Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Christina. No, I was telling Christina that we envisaged a Q&A session and also a comment session at the end of all the presentations. We are running very fast with the presentation, so I'm happy about that, because this is a sign of concreteness, and also this gives us the opportunity to have a larger Q&A session at the end of the presentations. We are now going to the final presentation for today. But before, I want to just also make some comments about Christina's presentation. We, as Uni Marconi, are willing, of course, to enter this network, this FAO network, and have the opportunity to include and insert those programs into our programs. Actually, we had this kind of discussion many years ago, and I think that in Italy we were among the first ones, or the first one. For a series of reasons, we couldn't achieve that result at that time, but now we are more than willing to do it. And also in the framework of this collaboration with the Pan-African University, this will help us for sure to, and also this focus on Africa that we are having in terms of institution and also in terms of national country. Again, with the Mattei Plan, and at the European level with the European Global Gateway. So now we are going to have the presentation that, as mentioned earlier, will illustrate the operational roadmap underpinning the agreements signed by Uni Marconi and the African Union, actually, through the Pan-African University last September. An operational roadmap that will be refined and progressively improved along the time, for sure. It's a presentation that I have the honor of sharing with Eric Tambo, who is the head of the Pan-African Virtual and E-University. And I'm very happy to hand the floor over to Eric for starting the first part of this presentation. Please, Eric.
Good morning, everyone. So it's a pleasure and an honor to be here. So to present with Arturo, as mentioned, the operational plan and that we are thinking on implementing the MOU that we have signed with the Uni Marconi and the Pan-African Virtual and E-University. So as you can see in the title, maybe I will start with the context and the rationale. So that has been mentioned already partly by Director Professor Jean Koulidiati. So the African Union is acting through the Pan-African University and the University Marconi have signed jointly an MOU in September 2025. So the African development depend on expanding high quality accessible on higher education. So one of the other rationale for the collaboration is the rapid demographic growth in the continent, which requires scalable digital learning infrastructures. I think for all of you, you know the demographic in the continent by 2050. So the amount of youth that will be coming into the job market, which needs some kind of skills. So the African Union identify for that education as a strategic driver for economic and social transformation. And to support the effort of the Pan-African Union in this regard, the Pan-African University has been mandated to train the next generation of leaders, researchers, and professionals. So, and on the other side, we have the Uni Marconi, which is recognized for its international role in digital education and innovative teaching models. So that are more or less the context and the rationale which brought the Pan-African University and the Uni Marconi to sign a memorandum of understanding. So to be more concrete, if you are talking on digital needs of Africa, so we have a need, as already mentioned, the numbers of graduates that we have at every year is coming from the high school is very high with regard to the capacity from the infrastructural perspective as well as supervision perspective. So if I take the example of the Pan-African University, I think the rector has mentioned that we have 5 campi. In Algeria, for example, we have demand every year of almost 3,000 applicants for 100 spots. And if we go at the country level, so if you are looking the numbers of graduates which are coming out of the higher school and the infrastructural, so the level of the university, the demand, so it is a mismatch. So we need definitely a scalable model so to address these challenges. And also the supervision beside the infrastructural problem. So when we are talking on infrastructural problem, if you are the one working with African University, you have seen already what we call amphitheater with the capacity of, let's say, 3,000 people. But in the first semester in medicine or in law, you may have 3 times because the investment, the national investment in education does not really fit. Countries have other priorities, health, security, so that the investment need at least to address the high demand is quite challenging. And beside this infrastructural challenge, we also have the supervision challenges. If you are looking in the teaching staff, you have aging staff, you have the migration. A lot of high qualified young people are going in the Western country looking for better opportunities. So that are more or less the big challenges that many African universities are facing. But on the other side, we have also the opportunity that digital technology offers. The reality also in the National University now is that many students are working with internet, with online courses from other universities, also even online master program. You will see a lot of graduates in African University having degree from National University and in parallel having online degree from university abroad, which show that digital technology offer a lot of opportunities. So, and there is also high demand when it comes to science, technology, engineering, math, discipline. and it's more or less our emphasize with the change that we are seeing with artificial intelligence, and also the implication that this reorientation of discipline will have in the job market later on. So this applied technology which are needed for the transformation of the continent. So we also have a limited access, I think that has been mentioned already, to higher education. So that are more or less some constraints that we are seeing, challenges that we are seeing at the higher education level. But on the other side, the opportunity that digital technology are also providing to overcome these challenges. So, and in this line, so the collaboration between the Uni Marconi and the Pan-African University is very timely because the Uni Marconi recognized as the first online university in Italy, which can also jointly contribute at least to upscale the number of graduates and to address some of the challenge that has been mentioned. So this cooperation is aligned with strategic framework or strategic document. At the Pan-African University level, it's the Pan-African Virtual University Action Plan 2024-2028 with the support of the African Development Bank that has been mentioned by the rector. But all of the Pan-African University are also aligned with the African Union Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. I think the rector has mentioned that we have so far 4 operational university distributed in all regions in the continent, addressing priority of the Agenda 2063. So from the Italian perspective, we have the Italian Mattei Plan, particularly the pillar on education, and the European Global Gateway. So that are more or less the strategic framework which are underlining the collaboration between the Uni Marconi and the Pan-African University. So the vision for this collaboration is to empower Africa next generation through innovative digital education, strengthening research ecosystem, fostering sustainable development and global competitiveness. And we jointly has the mission to develop high-quality digital program, build institutional and research capacity, and expand access to modern learning and scientific infrastructures across Africa. So that are more or less the activities connected to the operational roadmap that we have identified that we will try in the short, medium, and long term to implement. One of the key pillars is the collaboration in digitalization of existing PAO Institute Master Program. As already mentioned, we have 4 physical Pan-African universities distributed in each region of the continent with different priority. These universities are already running master program. So we have in Algeria, the Pan-African University on Water, Energy, Sciences, including climate change, running 6 master programs in energy, water, and climate change. We have in Kenya, in East Africa, the Institute on Innovation and Technology, running also at least 6 master sciences. In West Africa, in Nigeria, in Ibadan, we have the Institute on Health and Health Sciences, running a lot of master and PhD program. And in Cameroon, the Pan-African University on Governance, Humanity and Social Sciences, running also at least 8 master program. So one of the limitations of this university is that we are providing scholarship to our students, and the demand is much, much higher as what we can provide. So as already mentioned, the example of Algeria, 3,000 applications for 100 spots. So what do we do with the 2,900 students who are also interested? That is where digitalization of the online master program come in play, not only for the applicant, but to upscale the access to education at the continental level. So, and jointly with the Uni Marconi, we will see first how can we digitalize the existing at least 30 master programs that we have already designed to increase the access to education, starting with 4, each master program at one university in the frame of the next 3 years. So beside the master program, we are planning also to develop joint courses. You know, a master program always consists of many courses. How can we organize the content of these courses in certified master program for the one who cannot go through a 1 or 2 years program? for the professional working already, which does not have a time, but which needs specific courses. We call it in French formation à la carte or à la demande, where we combine certain courses to make certified program. That is also one area where jointly with the Unimarconi, we will see how to operate. AI has been mentioned as one of the important game changer in the future of education and the future of work. I think Professor Koulidiati was already here last year with regard to this specific topic, which is also very important at the Pan-African University level, which does not have only the mandate to train, but also to drive and support other universities in the continent in the adoption of curriculum. So one potential project that we are thinking is to design a toolkit to support African university to deploy master program on AI. So that is building also on the competences of Marconi University and other partner, not only at the university level, but also at the high school level, because we think, like in many countries in the world, in the Western, they have already integrated AI at the primary and secondary education. So we are also thinking on how to strengthen the capacity of teachers in primary and secondary education to address the challenges and strengthen the capacity of youth when it's come to AI. Infrastructural and multimedia production. Tomorrow we will have the opportunity to visit the labs, the infrastructures that the Unimarconi is providing, and we think also at this level that we can have, we can build on the long-standing experiences of the Unimarconi when it's come to multimedia production of courses. Remote laboratory, so in 4 of our practical university, at least half of the master program are on engineering. So we are hosted in local university with very good infrastructural material, but it's always good also to collaborate since research is conducted through collaboration. And we are assessing the possibility also to open the access of laboratory of Italian university to our students through a remote laboratory. That is also something that we will look in the frame of our collaboration. Before we start the meeting, I had the chance to discuss with 4 colleagues on the accreditation, so which is quite important, which is one of the important pillars. So if we have to digitalize the master program that we have at the Pan-African University, how do we ensure the recognition of this degree at the European level? And since the Marconi University is the first university with whom we are going into a collaboration and recognize online university in Europe, we think also that assessing how our degree, not only the joint degree program that we will develop, but also the other online program that we are planning to develop, how can we leverage on the University Marconi to have this recognition and this accreditation at the European level. So we are planning also not everything be physical, but also online, but also physical, online summer school and winter school. So the possibility to some of our students to come here in visit and some of the faculty here, but also for Italian students to come to our university, to our 4 university. And at the end, I think the most important part, the joint fundraising, building on the exposure and the mandate that the Pan-African University have through the African Union to look for potential funding, not only at the Italian level, but also at the European Union level for the implementation of activities of the roadmap. So the roadmap has a timeline. So for now, we are thinking on 3 years, what we will call, next year will be more the short-term implementation of the activities. 2027 will be the midterm, which will be the phase 2 of the collaboration. And 2028, 3 years will be the phase for the consolidation and the expansion of the activities. I think what you see here is the operational phase of all of these activities, which has been present already, the different bullet or key pillar area of the operational phase. In the phase 1, meaning next year, so the co-design of new joint courses and master program is what we will more or less next year look at. And the years after, we will look at the digitalization and the production of these courses and program. And then at the last year in 2028, so we will refine this program and deliver them. So next year also, when it's come to capacity building with regard to AI, so design, if the fundings allow, the master program, the toolkit for university, but also the curriculum to strengthen the capacity of school teachers. So that are also activity plan for next year. And the years after, we will develop and pilot this toolkit, both at the higher education as well as the primary level. And in 3 years' time, so the continental rollout of the toolkit, so that we can increase the uptake and the adoption. At the infrastructural level, so tomorrow we will have the visit of the infrastructures and the multimedia. So next year we will concretely see what are the area of connection and collaboration. And then next year, the installation of the activity of the PAVE infrastructures through the support of the African Development Bank, and the years after, the operationalization of this collaboration. So at the infrastructural level, one of the project proposals that we also have in focus is this remote laboratory. So where next year we will develop the concept note, and then start next year the testing and operationalization, and the years after the deployment. So the online summer school, next year also we will launch. We will see which of our physical university are ready to send some students here in Italy, and also see which student from the Uni Marconi are also interested to have some experiences on the ground in one of our university, in the frame of what we will call the summer and winter school. And for the accreditation, I was telling to the 3 colleagues that I have the chance to talk that we may need a kind of specific working group where we will have to understand a bit the operational framework for the accreditation, so that we can, with the other partner like Obreal, CAMES, join forces to have our degree next year, at least design jointly the framework, not only for master and program, but also micro-credential, as Christina has mentioned. So how can we have a common framework with other division of the African Union? The Division of Education is also working on the Pan-African Continental Framework for accreditation of courses. So we will bring the dimension of online courses. That are the activities that we will try maybe next year to come out, in the next 2 years, to come out with a kind of joint framework, so that in 3 years' time, we can have our degree, our courses, and our micro courses also accredited in Europe. I think that is in the nutshell. So the operational framework that we have in the frame of our collaboration. And I'm looking forward to your question. I can imagine that there are some questions. So when we will have the Q&A session after the presentation of Arturo. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Eric. And thank you also for, we prepared this presentation in a remote way and in the last days, so I would like to thank once again Eric for his availability, and also for his big competencies in the contents that we are developing today. The operational roadmap that was presented by Eric perfectly fits. Unfortunately, this is a dense slide, so I don't know if you can really read what is written. But in any case, for those that will ask us, we are going to send you the presentation. I was saying that the operational roadmap perfectly fits this strategic framework that was developed on the occasion of a hearing before the Foreign Affairs and Defense Commission of the Italian Senate last July. Italy is, as I told you, is very keen to have proposals to be presented under the Mattei Plan. And that is why last year, following the foreign policy of our country, we developed this concept, high-level concept, of course. Uni Marconi has been long active in Africa, in different forms and with different cooperative and operational modalities. It ran in the past and it's currently running educational research projects in Algeria, Tunisia, Egypt, South Africa, Ethiopia. A significant number of African students are enrolled in our programs provided in English language. And we are also about to open regional centers in Ethiopia, Rwanda, and possibly in Congo-Kinshasa through the collaboration with local partners. Of course, in addition to those initiatives, the collaboration with the Pan-African Union is for us crucial since it embodies this perfect alignment with the Mattei Plan and European Global Gateway and the objectives of the African Union 2063 agenda. This concept identifies 3 levels of intervention: higher education, vocational education, and primary and secondary education, so covering the whole educational chain, linking them to specific objectives, actions, and expected outcomes. Many of the key areas of this concept were mentioned by Eric during his speech, especially concerning the use and the integration of AI and digital technologies into education, into educational systems, or the importance of recognition of qualifications. We have a very important collaboration with CIMEA, which is the Center for International Mobility and equivalency recognition. We work with them. We are working also on a project we are going to present concerning the recognition, the mutual recognition of certifications among African countries. So these are key areas that are very important to be developed. As you can see, research is a transversal and essential component of this concept. And in order to be concrete, now, as also was anticipated by Eric, we are going to just mention 2 projects that we have developed, at least at the first one at a conceptual level, and the second one we have already developed most of it, concerning 2 different initiatives. The first one is the open toolkit for the creation of programs, as Eric was saying, and that will be developed at the 2 levels. The first level is, of course, higher education, so in the universities, and the second level in the secondary education as well. It's important to support the capacity development, Christina, not capacity building, the capacity development of teachers, you're right, in Africa, teachers and educators. So that's why this open toolkit will be very important. And also this is linked to the activities that we are doing at the level of our observatory on artificial intelligence. We have in the audience also the director of the observatory, and I think that next, after this presentation, in the next session about QA and comments, we can also go a little bit deeper into the possibility of developing this kind of projects. Eric also made a budget breakdown, so we are talking about 368,000 euros. It's not a big amount, especially for the funding bodies that look at the development of big initiatives. So it can be a pilot that can be also scaled up to other universities. Here, the partners that were mentioned by Eric are Unimarconi, the 2 institutes of the Pan-African University, the Pan-African Virtual and E-University, and also the Pan-African Institute, I think, for Science, Technology and Innovation, if I'm not wrong, and the University of Bologna, because rightly and correctly, Eric mentioned the University of Bologna, rather the technopole of Bologna, because they have the opportunity to rely on the supercomputer for computing calculation, which is based in Bologna. If I'm not wrong, it's the fourth the fourth fastest and more performing and most performing computer in the world. So it's very it could be a very good partnership. And the second initiative that also was mentioned by Rick is about the remote laboratories. This is a even more structured project that we developed with the Free University of Bozen in the north of Italy, and LUMSA University, which is also located in Rome. And it envisages the creation of networked laboratories that give the opportunity to students to access remotely physical laboratories, combining the advantages of online systems with the opportunity to carry out real experiments in physical labs. We believe a lot in this kind of a project because this is also a pilot that we also we already submitted under a funding body, a funding call that was called Research for Capacity Building in Africa, G7. The project had a very good evaluation. It was admitted to be funded, but unfortunately the funds were very low. Just 1 million euros for many projects arrived. So that's why we want to keep this initiative in order to be submitted once again, at least in front of the Mattei Plan, different funding channels. And we are going to send these two initiatives to the rapporteur of the Mattei Plan, Gian Giacomo Calvin, that was not able to be present today, but we will do it for sure. The idea of this project was to target 120 researchers, students from 6 African universities, Mozambique, South Africa, and Ethiopia, with 40 educators and researchers. And of course, this initiative will include now also the Pan-African University, thanks to this collaboration and also this Pan-African feature that they can bring it into the project. Even here we have a breakdown of the budget, 250,000 euros. So again, it's a pilot, but it has a very good perspective to be scaled up to other African universities and also to be included in already existing networks at an international level, not only Europe, but also outside Europe, that already are connected through remote laboratories. Thank you very much. So, as I told you before, I think that the fact that we have plenty of time for questions and answers and for comments is a very good thing, because sometimes the events like this can be boring after many presentations, and especially after long presentations. So I open this session if you want. If there are questions, if there are comments, I'm going to have the first question for Cristina. It's about the delivery modes that you use in FAO eLearning Academy. If I'm not wrong, you don't, let's say for the asynchronous part, you don't have video lectures, or I'm wrong? You have videos, or you have other tools?
Yes, thank you very much. So the modalities are really, we try, what we have discovered is that the more you diversify your delivery methods, the greater the impact. So we really try to diversify. But for the asynchronous part, we have basically self-paced e-learning courses, which are the basis of the content, plus, of course, other publications that they have to read on their own, but self-paced e-learning courses that are available through the FAO e-Learning Academy, but that we put in the learning program. If it's a MOOC, for example, the MOOC has or blended learning programs where you blend different methodologies. So there is synchronous and asynchronous. In the synchronous, we have Zoom events where everybody participates, where you can talk about your challenges in your country, and the tutor is there to respond. And for the asynchronous, we have e-learning courses. So they go through the courses, they do all the testing, etc. And then there are assignments on the courses also. So.
Thank you, Christine. I have a second question. It's about the feedback that you receive from students.
Yes.
Because sometimes still, any government, any national or international or continental plan recognizes the importance of digital education. Of course, digital education is not there to replace physical education, but just to integrate it, giving, as Christina said before, the opportunity to widening the access, the democratization, the inclusion. What's the feedback using e-learning programs, attending e-learning programs from African students?
Thank you so much for this question, because it gives me the opportunity to talk a little bit more. So through the platform, we have the possibility to get feedback and comments from the learners and from the professionals using it, because since it's open also to people in the ministries who use the courses for policy formulations. We have professors that use the courses to enrich their programs, students, NGOs, so it's really open. But how can we understand how the impact? We receive, basically for each course you have the possibility to do an evaluation, but then we also have an entire section on the platform to receive feedback. And the feedback is really what motivates me to work every day, because there are people who write to us that thanks to this they were able to find a job, that it has changed their lives, sometimes that it has changed their lives in their communities, that with the certification they are able to be more competitive on the professional market. And then there are things that are happening that we haven't foreseen. For example, I think it's in Zambia, there is somebody who took all the courses and who has opened a YouTube channel where he translates in local languages everything that is on the e-learning course, and he has his entire channel based on our courses in the local languages. I mean, this is something that we didn't know was happening, but these things are also happening, and I think that I think it's positive to hear how it can really affect the lives and change the lives of people, of communities. That is the overall objective, to give the opportunity to everyone to have access to education. It's not only those who come from a richer family who have this opportunity. It has to be really a human right, basically, accessible to all, universal, and so that was the objective.
Thank you very much. And also this opportunity to preserve local languages through the use of e-learning programs translated into those local languages is also a plus, which is very important in my opinion.
Thank
you very much, Christina. Please, any other question or comments? Yeah, please.
Just with the mic. You mentioned someone is translating the courses.
Yes.
We have people connected.
So I said, I hope you have opened a talk with such individual to ensure that this individual is using YouTube to translate your courses. So I see it as an opportunity to be more localized, to give that person more platform, resources, and I think integrating what that person does into your organization gives you another leverage to reach more audience. So I think it's a dimension you should consider. So I don't know if it's something you want to consider.
So the platform is multilingual, and we work in 6 languages. So Chinese, Arabic, French, Spanish, Russian, and English. But what the person is doing, we cannot necessarily integrate in the platform. Why? Because then FAO would be endorsing what the person is doing, and we don't know what, I mean, we don't speak that language, so we don't know what's, but what I think is important is accessibility and inclusion. And in this case, this is what is happening. So these are lateral realities that are happening, basically.
All right, thank you. So I want to react generally to some of the things Mr. Eric had said concerning the online master's program. Okay, I run an e-learning platform for over 7 years called the Learnaholics Academy. And the idea was to sell personal and professional development courses to young Africans. Now, I think I've come to realize that we are becoming more obsessed with the idea of certifications, that we are driven by the need to have that certification than the skill behind it. This is a very honest observation over time. And I think we must come to terms with the fact that the labor market asks us first what we have before they ask us what we can do. Or so to speak, they had painted a picture as such. So I want to ask that while of these roadmaps or the frameworks looks very interesting, I think we must also pay attention to that we do not generate the league of people who just get certified, who just go through the courses. You mentioned that there are 3,000 applications for a particular program. 2,900 people are out there. And I can say that on what parameters are we going to be certain that the 100 we picked are actually in need of it for life-changing purposes, not even for migration and the likes that we have seen. So I think we need to start looking at ways to measure that the essence of what we are doing is for people who actually need it, not who want it, because we have needs and wants, and that's on a face. Then I also had come to realize that we are at a disadvantage as Africans when it comes to doing some things online. I'm a Nigerian, and for me, I find it difficult to take online whatever because I have issues with the internet, I have issues with electricity, I have issues with almost everything. Now, how do we mitigate these factors? So that comes to where I was asking Christina if there is plan to integrate persons like that. Now, how do I mean? I'm going to explain. I believe that while certain things are virtual, it becomes more easier to reach certain set of people through familiar faces. And the essence of that faces is to translate to them that the core of this thing is not just to get certified, but there is a value beyond that. So I'm saying that do we have local actors in this phase that don't just come online to take the course? First, let those people pitch the idea, the purpose of why we're bringing the course to them in the language that they understand. So when you say, this is why I'm doing this, so when that person pitches that idea, you can say that, oh, it's a beautiful idea, I want to do it. But from what I can decipher from what this person is saying, I don't think is a next line of action for me as an individual. So then they can make informed choices beyond that. Then other factors I've mentioned, electricity and other things I mentioned, I don't know how we want to mitigate it, but I think we are making progress. So I got a glimpse of something in Africa. I don't know, they call it Alt School. I don't know if you come across it. This is what they do. They teach people in courts. Then there is a set of engagement that comes with it, especially using social media. So that momentum they built around social media, local engagements, give youths the interest to engage them. So if we just have it online, is it just formal, you just apply, you just attend class, listen to courses? I think we're just doing the traditional thing. I think we'll first speak to youth in language that they understand, using familiar faces, using people who influence their thought daily. Because I can say for a fact that we listen more to people who would not even have the quality of the things we need on daily basis as young Africans than people who actually do. So I am tilting towards the fact that we must have a grassroots mechanisms that communicates the value of what we are doing before we start doing it, so that it's not be translated as just a medium to get a certification without actually getting the value attached. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, Eric.
Many thanks for the wonderful question. which are also in line with the realities of many curriculum, how far, not only in Africa, even in Europe. I used to study in Germany for quite long, and how far the curriculum is adapted to competences and not necessarily for certification. I think at the Pan-African University we recognize these challenges, how practical should be our graduate, and we have taken some measure to mitigate it. I think the Director has mentioned the collaboration that we had in the first phase with the African Development Bank, which has helped us also to set up incubators in the university. So before the Pan-African Virtual University, I used to be research coordinator on one of our physical institutes in Algeria, where the work was to bring the entrepreneurial perspective in the curriculum. So where we are not just providing courses on entrepreneurship, but we are creating an ecosystem. So where we expose the student with entrepreneurship club, with pitching event, with connection to investor, that they can practice and apply the theoretical knowledge that they have, bring that into entrepreneurship. With a high demand also of the Commission to have in our engineering program entrepreneurs and not necessarily job seekers. So just to show you the practicalities, and it starts not only in the integration of this practical aspect in the curriculum, but right also in the design of the curriculum. We just come from a session where we were updating and designing new curriculum at this institute in Algeria, and the process is similar to all other institutes. In the design of the curriculum, I think she mentioned what she called competence gap analysis, where you try also to understand what are the needs in the market before designing the curriculum. And in the design of the curriculum process, you have not only academicians, but also practitioners, people from the private sectors, people from the industry, which help you to understand designing the learning objective in line with competences and not necessarily with skills. And the micro-credential aspect that has been mentioned also, we are seeing a lot of skills that are very difficult to integrate it into a master curriculum. There are new skills, for example, when it's come to creative industry, gaming, movie making, so you will rarely find curriculum addressing that. But then you may find some short courses over 3 weeks, over 1 month, which give the skills to someone to be operational. So that is also something that we are exploring with the micro-credentials and micro-credits. So in that we will also look with the Unimarconi on working together. The infrastructural challenge that you have mentioned, electricity, internet, I think Africa is the continent of resilience. So I've mentioned that despite all these challenges, you will find, we had an interviews for the Pan-African Virtual University, and all of the applicants, most of them you will find that they have master program from foreign university in addition to the classical master program and that they are doing despite all this electricity challenge. And the technology allow also today to have solution like mobile learning, like offline working, and many university has adapted to provide to the student this opportunity to address this kind of infrastructural challenges. Blended learning definitely is important, not just having online interaction. So we are also thinking with the Pan-African Virtual University, when we will design the online master program, to have physical aspect where we will bring also the student together before going fully online, because that has been proven as being the optimal model of education. One aspect that I'm seeing from many of your input is the integration of, let's say, end user, meaning youth, speaking to the language of youth to localize the content, to integrate. I think it sounds very interesting, because we see also the influence that this influencer has on the youth in the continent. What we have to identify are the influencer working on educational content and support them. So there are many. If you go online, there's this young guy in Chad who have designed a YouTube channel on mathematics, introducing mathematics that the UK government and the MIT wanted to buy. I think that are the people that we have to identify and to see how we can closer the collaboration, because they speak the language of the youth. So I think it's a very interesting opportunity to look how we can work with this ambassador to reach the youth generation, but to contextualize also what we are doing at our level. I think that is what I can see.
Please, Christine, and then we have another comment.
No, I think that your comment was very interesting because it covered various aspects, from the needs to the localization to the infrastructure, etc. So just to complement, so before doing anything, as I mentioned, we do a competency gap analysis, and this is not done by FAO. This is done by FAO plus people, of course, field practitioners. So we invite people from different parts of the world to better understand what is the transformation we want to see? What is the change we want to see? Who is the target audience? What are their roles, their responsibilities? What are their job tasks? And from that, we extract the knowledge, the skills, and the competencies that they need to have to better perform their tasks. And this is that part that goes in the courses. And then regarding, of course, these courses are applicable worldwide. When there are big regional differences, we put them in the case studies, examples. But you are right, to further do a localization, we always work with intermediaries. So we work, for example, with big extension services networks. Like, for example, in Africa, we work with AFAS. I don't know if you know. It's the African Forum for Agricultural Advisory Services. This is a huge network, and they have people that then go in the field and translate whatever we are producing into something that people can understand. But this part is super important, you are right, because we cannot carry out the localization from a central point. It needs to be decentralized, absolutely.
Yes, another, thank you very much.
So thank you very much. First of all, thank you very much for this opportunity, because I think all the presentations were very relevant and inspiring. And I'm Elisa from CIMEA, so I'm the one dealing with certification actually. So, and I have a question and a comment. My question was actually already covered, because I was really interested in the gap analysis you performed to identify what are the needs, because as you said, I think that when co-creating courses or micro-credentials, it is fundamental to start from the needs. And every time I see that there is a gap analysis behind, the course is much more effective, and I would really be interested to better understand how you perform this gap analysis, because I think it's a fundamental part. And the other, my comment was also about micro-credentials, and there is another time a comment and a question, because I would be interested to understand if the courses you are providing also leads to micro-credentials, which would be really interesting for me to better understand. And the comment is about the very interesting link between formal, non-formal, and informal education that was mentioned, because in our experience, what I can share is that when we try to co-create micro-credential, the most effective way was to design the micro-credentials together with the industry or what are called the alternative providers. So many times we try to co-create micro-credentials, putting together universities, industrial partners, and alternative providers to try to better understand what are the needs behind the competence we are offering, and also to inform potential students or learners about the outcomes, the learning outcomes. And in terms of competence, what I think is that there is a shift towards the certificate and the learning outcome. So what is important now is not only to have a certificate, but to have a certificate that can describe the competence and skills you have acquired thanks to a specific course. And I think this is something that is very relevant in this path. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a fantastic question too. So just absolutely. So we are working with many universities on these micro credential programs. So how do we work with them? First, very often universities, as I mentioned, use the courses as part of the masters, and they attribute a number of credits to the courses. But besides that, in addition to that, they also are very interested in multidisciplinary learning path for their micro-credential programs. So what we are noticing, and this is the trend that we are noticing, while before universities were interested in integrating courses related to one area, because as you know, all the institutions, all the organizations, all the universities are organized in silos. You have the biology, you have the science, you have the water management, and it's all like this. Now we are noticing that in addition to adding the specific courses to the specific faculty programs, they are interested in multidisciplinary path that with the micro-credential programs, so that students, independently of the faculty they are doing, can do these multidisciplinary path, because in real life, everything is interconnected. Even if you talk about water, you need to talk about soils, about forestry, about livestock, about antimicrobial resistance, because it goes into also human health, human nutrition, it goes in plants, it goes, so everything is actually connected. So what we are noticing is that there is a lot of interest. And to go back to what you were mentioning about the Piano Mattei, they were so interested in this multidisciplinary path that next year we will be working with the Italian cooperation with African institutions to create these multidisciplinary paths that are certified by FAO, but also that allow you to get micro-credentials from the universities. So this is planned for next year, basically.
Thank you very much, Cristina, and also, you know, the importance of having interdisciplinary programs.
Yes.
I just would like to add, you know, a couple of comments very shortly, especially linked to what Cristina, Rick, and also Elisa said, in order to give you another point of view. Concerning the how to mitigate gaps about electricity or connectivity, etc. Besides resilience, of course, and also the investment that will be made into the infrastructure in Africa. Another good point is to have regional centers. That's why we are going to do this. Gather people in a center, on a specific even village or city where the connectivity is good, in order to give them the possibility to attend also online programs that could not be from remote areas where the connectivity or the electricity perhaps can represent a problem. This is the first point. The second point is about what you said. I think that we should be also realistic. When students or people in general, or also professionals, attend a program, in any case, they also seek for a certification. Not only formal, even for informal education. Now they seek for a certification. That is why micro-credentials are so popular. What is important, in my opinion, and the examples were made perfectly by the other colleagues concerning the co-creation of contents, the involvement of industrial partners, all alternative providers, etc., etc. What does it mean? This means quality. If you make your programs with quality, you can balance what is needed and what is wanted. But this is the difference between those that provide programs just for the certification and those that provide programs because they look at the quality, at the needs of the people, and also give a certification that in any case can be useful for their professional growth or even personal growth. I don't know if there are other comments on this topic. Okay, thank you very much, Jean. I don't know if there are other comments on this topic. Yes, please. I kindly ask you to speak at the microphone because there are people connected. Okay. Otherwise, they cannot hear you.
Thank you very much for the presentations that you have made. I just had a simple question. Okay, I know that education and capacity development is important, and many of our countries require it, and our people, the young youth, they need that development and for them to get jobs and everything. So now my question is, once they have done these courses under this either through FAO or through Uni Marconi, is there a pathway that gives these students or these graduates an opportunity to work? Is that a plan that we are looking at in the future or currently? Thank you.
I think that I don't know, you want to respond? Oh,
Sorry, I was talking. I was distracted. I was talking with Professor
but
Cuglieri.
in our case, basically, since the courses are competency-based, it's a way to demonstrate on the professional market that you have these competencies. And this allows to better match the market demand with what you offer. We have noticed that it increases employment opportunities, but then we are not involved in that phase, basically. So.
Maybe from the Pan-African University perspective is the question that our students are also constantly asking us. You have provided us this gracious scholarship. Can you also provide us a job after the after the graduate program? And I think our answer is we provide the frame, the quality, allowing you to find your job. We have, as mentioned, we have engineering program and we have policy program, mainly for the policy student. For the engineer student, we will hope we provide also the environment that you can create your own enterprises later on. Some of them are going also in PhD, in postdoc program. We have very good tracer study which analyze the pathway of the student. But I don't know one university which can give you more or less a graduate program and ensure you after that he will give you. So as a university, we provide the frame, we provide the condition, and the experiences show that we have more than 80% employment rate of our students, but after the after the graduation. So there are many ways of providing this environment, providing opportunity in internship, in industry, so connecting them also with with practitioners where they can do master thesis and after that continue organizing at the premises of the university international event where they can connect with international partner. So because we think also that they also have this kind of responsibility to do this effort using the framework that we have provided to look for further. In each of the institute, we have a division called employability, so career, and where we also help them in reviewing the CVs, in providing connection to internship. But at a certain level, they also have to do the steps. And as mentioned, from experiences, we have very good result from our tracer study where 80% have a good employment opportunity after.
Thank you.
I think Chancel is also, she can also maybe complete.
Okay, just to add what Dr. Eric has just said, in Pan-African University, we are currently changing the paradigm, shifting from job seekers to job creators. And as he just said, entrepreneurship being also at the center of what we are doing, with the support of African Development Bank. I think we are moving towards our students building, setting their own enterprises. Instead of seeking, they are creating jobs, and I think it's working quite well. Thank you. I just wanted to add that.
Sorry, with the microphone. Yeah, otherwise, the people connected cannot hear us.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you for that intervention. It was actually very good because I wanted to know that is an aspect that we need to highlight and make it known so that you know that what you're doing is actually producing some sort of positive effect in the countries that you're working. So I think that should be highlighted as we proceed on how we will improve our countries and provide for the young people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mulumba, you want to make a comment? Very modest.
Hello, my name is Mulumba Bin Kadzadi. I'm Congolese from Kinshasa, RDC. I live here. I'm a director of a migrant center where we work for integrate migrant from different countries, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Mali, Sub-Saharan, Egypt, and other countries, example. So, but we thank you for our possibility to be here, and especially, and we want to invite for something, because we're working with Unimarconi to open a line of formation for people in Congo. And just I want to say one thing: people in Congo look at African Union with many hope. But Congolese people are very feel deception with the African Union, because there is not a very clear action about what we live now in Congo. But we think there is a hope for us. We have this deep feel that formation and education will be for us a great instrument, because we know our position, the position of RDC in the heart of the continent is a very important position. And the demography, we are more than 100 million people in Congo. And we have a good market for formation and good market for education. And the position of our group, we are working with the Unimarconi. There is more than 900 people. They are working now for this project to open this digital formation. And more of them, someone is now online. They are working with the presidents or the government of Congo. It's a concrete, serious question for us. So today we are here with a PME group. They are working with Farnesina, and they have more than 500 offices in Italy, and they make formation in other countries. What we would like to ask you, even if in politics we have political deception, but for science, it's possible to be together. Why for we ask with Unimarconi, with PME group, with the African Union, it's possible, and with FAO learning group, e-learning academy, if it's possible for us to have time to speak together to work for the people of Congo too, because for us it's why we are here. To work for Congo, for us, it's work for Africa. Without peace in Africa, we have not peace in, without peace in Congo, we have not peace in Africa. It's clear for us. But to have peace in Congo, we need formation and education. So is my message. Thank you. Excuse me for my bad English, I try.
Thank you very much, Mulumba. I don't know if you want to make a comment, or...
I think I can give you maybe one comment on what you have mentioned. At the African Union, at Pan-African University, at the continental level, we are aware of the situation in Congo with science diplomacy, so we know that we can move the barrier. Mandela says the education is the most important weapon to change the future of the continent. In the conception of the Pan-African University, they are planned, I mentioned the 4 or 5 centers that we have, but in the next phase that the rectors is driving, so we are also planning to have, that was in the initial plan what we call satellite of the Pan-African University. So we had to make priorities on where the hubs in north, south, west, and south and east could be. The country has competed, providing some basic infrastructures. For example, in South Africa, they will be an institute working on spaces because they have the premises and working on spaces. In North Africa, it was. And we knew also that we cannot have Pan-African University in all countries, and we designed this concept of satellite. So each of the hub is supposed to have 10 satellites in the continent. So meaning we will end up with a network of 5 hubs and 50 universities across the continent. And that is where we see an opportunity also to integrate. Congo is one of the priorities when you are talking, for example, on mineral transformation of rare minerals with the institute in Algeria. So if we have centers on how to transform all of this coltan into batteries, so that are the discussion that we can follow up to see how which university in Congo, Lubumbashi, or can be a satellite in the long term of the different Pan-African universities that we have to strengthen locally and to connect Congo with the Pan-African University Network. I think that is what I can say in this regard.
Just to complement, from our side, we work with all countries and all African countries. So if you contact me, we can organize specific events for Congo where you could mobilize universities, NGOs, research centers, and we can show them how they can benefit from all these resources that are available also for them. The problem is that we don't know who to contact in Congo. So it would be perfect to work together, so we can raise awareness of the various institutions so that they can benefit.
Thank you. Also, there are again connected from Congo, and there is a group of people coming from different ministries. So Mulumba can be the perfect person in order to also create this network, including FAO, Marconi, Pan-African University. And this meeting is also on purpose for networking, which is a fundamental thing. I don't know if there are other comments or questions. Yes, please. Yes, and then.
I just wanted to tell my brother that at the Pan-African University, we are working with all the 55 member states, African member states. You said about education, which is fundamental, which is key, and that's what the rector is doing. The doors are open, even countries under sanctions. We have Burkina Faso, we have Niger, because of the coup. But we are still taking students from those countries. And going back to the DRC, we have students from DRC in each of the Pan-African University. You will find them there, 4, 5, even more. So which means that we are working, it's a Pan-African University, it's inclusive. And it's for you now. It's just that we have closed the call because we give scholarship. The call has just ended, but for the next cohort, it's for you now that you know the existence of Pan-African University to advertise so that we can have more students coming from the DRC. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There is. Can you pass the microphone? Thank you very much.
This is a more genuine and broad question. What are the current job market's demand regarding online courses or online degrees? how are you trying to provide those?
This is an interesting question. I don't know. I take the question, then I leave also our colleagues to reply. There is no single market for online programs because online is something that now, especially after COVID, has become more popular among people and students throughout the world, worldwide. It's true that still there is a resistance, or there is a perception or an approach that sees the online part as like something less than in-presence education. But this perception is going to be changed. We, for example, in our partnerships in Africa, we noticed that still students want to study physically, want to study in presence. They need, of course, the real-time, let's say, interactions with the professors, which is true, which is correct in a way. That's why even universities like ours that are specialized in e-learning programs are progressively going towards a hybrid form. Because technology, like in any sector, is changing also education. And probably the right form will be this hybrid modality, where the online part will be more dedicated to theoretical contents, and of course the in-presence part will be more dedicated to practical content, to contents, to interaction, simulations, critical thinking, and so forth. So there is no one single market. There is a worldwide market for online programs. There are regions that are more ready, if we can use this expression, to accept. It's mostly a matter of acceptance. Accept that even e-learning programs can be provided with quality. And there are other regions that are understanding this through little steps. But we will get to this hybrid form, and we will get to the understanding that any kind of form is useful because people have different needs, have different lives. They have to balance their work, their life, and the need for education.
Yes. Absolutely, and actually each one of us have a different way of learning, a preferred way of learning. Now, some people prefer to listen, some people prefer to read and have a book, some people prefer to do it online. So it really varies. And what literature shows is that the more you diversify, the greater the impact. However, e-learning remains the method that has the greatest return on investment, because for your investment, you reach thousands. In our case, we have 1,400,000 people worldwide. Can you imagine doing this face to face? It's not possible. So it depends what is it that you want to achieve. In our case, it's universal education. It's really allowing everyone to have access. So I think that one is this is the top method to do it. But of course, we also have very targeted programs where we need to, for example, upgrade the skills of specific people in the ministries. In that case, we don't use just e-learning. We use blended programs where we follow the cohort from the start to the end, and it's a learning process. It's not only a learning outcome that we're looking for. So, yeah. So this is just to tell you that e-learning is, however, the method that has the greatest return on investment. So for example, even if at the end you pay 100,000, let's say, for a course to develop it, then you reach millions, and at the end the cost per person is less than $1. There is no other method in the world that allows you to have this return on investment.
Maybe if I can also complete the question of the job market is also the question of the perception of online education, as Arturo mentioned, which differs from country to country. But the reality is, if you look in many countries who have adopted online national open university, you will see that the number of students in this university are the highest. I don't know the numbers here at Marconi University. In one of my previous professional life, I used to work for the online university in Germany, like Marconi University, the biggest, in terms of numbers, the biggest number of university admitting students and graduating students. And the perception of employers, I worked for 5 years, 7 years there, they better have someone who went through an online program than the physical, because online education requires a lot of self-discipline. If someone has gone through an online program, he will tell you how he has to organize himself. He has to, I think we have someone here doing an online program. It's required really for employers to show that we can really be self-organized and control. And as mentioned, in each of the country, you will see, if you go in India, the Indira Gandhi National University is the highest. If you go in the UK, the Open University of the UK, in terms of administration. If you go in South Africa, the UNISA is. So it's true that it's a good means, as Patricia was saying, to have a kind of massive education, but on the other side, which also prepare people from the market. And the reality for youth now, even if they are not doing an entire online program, all of the skills that they have in programming, that they have in multimedia, that the skills that they have acquired through the new media, through internet, through YouTube channel. So it's show, and if you are looking at competences as an employer in terms of job market, and employers is looking more for competences, and online give you the flexibility, at least for students, to acquire these competences which are requested for the flexible way for the job market.
Thank you, Eric. Yes.
Buongiorno, io purtroppo comprendo molto bene l'inglese, ma non lo parlo fluidamente, per cui preferisco parlare in italiano. Magari se mi aiuta per la traduzione. Allora,
I will try to, I'm not an interpreter, but I will try to translate what our colleague is going to say.
Io rappresento PMI Italia, una confederazione nazionale.
She represents the PMI Italy, which is the association already mentioned by Mulumba.
Ok, noi con il nostro percorso nella mission in Africa siamo già presenti con delle sedi istituzionali come PMI Italia, abbiamo già avviato da diversi anni, subito dopo il periodo Covid, nel specifico nel Marocco, abbiamo già le nostre aule dove facciamo formazione a 360 gradi.
So they have already centers in Africa, and after COVID they opened these centers, especially in Morocco.
Abbiamo aperto in questi ultimi periodi anche le nostre sedi in Algeria, stiamo per aprire anche nel Burundi con il supporto della Camera di Commercio Internazionale Burundi Italia.
So the next offices will be opened in Algeria and in Burundi, thanks to the support of the Italian Italian Burundi Chamber of Commerce.
Yes. E, la zona dei Grandi Laghi, appunto, tramite l'università, il supporto dell'università anche del Burundi, noi abbiamo all'interno di PM Italia tutte le convenzioni con l'università che ci sono in Italia. Manca, ecco, appunto la vostra università Unimarconi, infatti in questo contesto magari poi avvieremo anche una convenzione con la Unimarconi, se fosse possibile, ci farebbe molto piacere.
So they have already signed agreements with other Italian universities, and they are willing to do it also with Unimarconi. Of course, we are open to have this collaboration with you.
Ok, detto questo, volevo anche dire solamente un'altra cosa, che noi oltre a fare appunto tutto quanto alla formazione, noi rilasciamo con la legge 4 del 2013 tutte quante le qualifiche che non sono riconducibili a degli albi, per cui tutte le attività che possono essere presentati, corsi tipo il falegname, oppure in agricoltura il potatore, piuttosto che l'agrichef e colui che va a fare la somministrazione nell'agriturismo, per intenderci, possiamo dare un attestato di qualifica e noi siamo appunto autorizzati a rilasciarle tramite il Ministero del Lavoro.
So this is important, I think. They can release official certifications of not recognized professions, There are specific figures, even the agricultural sector or in other sectors, that are not officially recognized, but they can be recognized according to a specific law from the Ministry of Work, of Labor in Italy.
Esattamente, sono 94 le qualifiche, per cui spaziamo un po' su tutte le 9 macro aree che appunto che abbiamo a disposizione.
So 94 working qualifications.
Certo. E siamo accreditati appunto da Malmaesci tramite la Farnesina e il Ministero degli Esteri, per cui insomma abbiamo anche il rapporto istituzionale con l'ente di riferimento. Detto questo, io ringrazio e vi auguro una buona giornata.
Thank you very much. They are credited to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Italy, and of course, this is a very important collaboration. And she sends us her wishes, and she thanks us for this day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, Luca, there is first a question behind you, and then you can take the microphone.
Thank you very much. My name is Lepeti. I'm from the Embassy of Lesotho. First of all, let us appreciate the invitation that has been rendered to our embassy. We really appreciate for being part of this very fruitful discussion here today. I've got one or two questions. It has come to my attention that there is collaboration between Unimakoni and Pan-African University. So now here's my question. When there's collaboration between two universities or even more, you may find that especially from Africa and Europe, you may find that there are some courses which are done from the other side. Like we say, some courses are being rendered in European countries, others are being done in African university. For example, in UNISA, University of South Africa, is in collaboration with universities in Europe like Liverpool John Moore University in UK. So there are some courses which some students from Africa are doing in UK, which are not rendered in Africa, specifically in University of South Africa. So with your collaboration, Unimakoni and Pan-Africa, are there some courses which are done here specifically in Italy, not from Africa? And then in that case, is the sponsorship covering all the expenses like the accommodation, transportation, and tuition and everything? Because I understand from the previous presentations that Pan-Africa University is offering some sponsorship. So when the student is enrolled and then the course is rendered here in Italy, is there any sponsorship, and is it covering like everything, accommodation, insurance, transportation, and everything? That's my question. Thank you very much.
I'll just give you a first reply, and then Rick, if you want to comment it. The kind of programs that can be provided together are wide, even in the delivery modality. Of course, what we are going to do at first is to seek for online programs. As you followed the presentation by Eric, he mentioned all the key areas of collaboration that we have. We have let's say we want to develop jointly programs. We want to develop. We want to digitalize the already existing programs. There are a series of activities that, of course, have to be implemented throughout the years. It cannot be done everything in a short-term perspective, but also in a medium and long-term perspective. In order to get to this modality, having a joint program allowing students to be fully covered with the scholarships, transportation, and all the costs that could incur coming here to study in Rome. Of course, we need also to seek for funds coming also outside from our universities, because our universities. Now I'm I'm talking about Unimarconi. Unimarconi is a not-for-profit university, but it doesn't receive any funds from the government, from the ministry. So we have to survive, let's say, if you allow me to use this word, thanks to the fees of the students. So of course that we are going to try to offer scholarships as well from our side, but it's important in order to have this kind of initiatives to have funds also from external bodies and external providers. That's why one of the initiatives that we are going to implement will be to prepare specific dossiers. We talked with Jean even last year about that. To present to different potential funding bodies. That could be the African Development Bank, the Mattei Plan, European Global Gateway, and so forth. Of course, the idea is to give the students the better conditions in order to study. But in order to do this, we need also investments and funds. This is normal, I think. It's understandable. I don't know, Eric, if you want to add something.
Yeah. I think maybe some precision on the facility that we provide to our students. So you know also the limitation that we have in our national budget when it's come to education. So, which implies that it will be difficult to fund African in Europe with the money that we have to support the scholarship of the students so far are money from the member state. So, and it's planned for the physical master program that we have in the 5 regions of the continent. As Chancel has mentioned, we have students for 45 countries. So you can apply for any places in Lesotho, from anywhere. But then you have to go to one of our physical facilities. And we provide this scholarship because you cannot come from Lesotho. You have to live there. You have to pay your rent. You have to pay your insurance. That is the reason why the member states are investing on that. But I think from the embassy, you know that it may be very difficult to invest on people which are living here in Europe. What we can do is with partner to look for potential fundings so that when we provide, then we can. So we will design the joint courses. For the people here, definitely we will look for funding to see how far we can provide a frame for them. But the money from the member states so far are also restricted to the physical. That is also the reason why we are going online. So to ensure the sustainability, because we have also to design model on how can we upscale the outreach of the student with limited funding. So that is the reason why we are also going online. So I think that is an answer. We will design joint courses, and for people applying here, then we can see with partner how to support them. And in this line, I think we are also thinking a lot on formal education, but what we call vocational education in the continent is extremely important. And that is the reason why the connection with this association of employers in Italy is quite important, because there are a lot of, she mentioned 94 working qualification. So connected with these ideas of micro-credential and connection also with the problematic of immigration. So we have a lot of people, Italy is a country hosting through the MEA, Mediterranean MEA people, a lot of African coming here in Europe with qualification. It could be nurses, it could be mechanicals, it could be carpenters. So we should not just think about the formal and educational system, because the big part of this migrant also in the continent are these people with vocational skills. And the best way is to work with association of workers like yours. So I think that is also something that we have at the African Union branch working on vocational, but so far it's also something that we have to think about it, how to strengthen the competences of people who are not going through the formal educational system, through this kind of flexible, practical trainings. And if you do that with people from the industry, it's always good. So meaning it's a very useful collaboration that we will also have to explore in the future on how to strengthen the competences of people more in informal and vocational context.
And we will. Yes, this is also a complementary reply that can be done. Concerning, in this case, concerning vocational education, of course, there are companies that are interested in training professionals and workers with specific skills that are useful inside those companies, so they could be willing to fund, the costs of this training. Exactly. In the health system, in the food system, etc. Okay. Thank you very much. There is now, perhaps this could be the last comment from Luca Manuelli. Okay. Firstly, Luca Manuelli, who is the director of the Artificial Intelligence Observatory.
Thank you very much. I'm Luca Manuelli. I'm professor of artificial intelligence and director of AI Generative Learning and Innovation Hub of Unimarconi. I'm very happy to be here today, thanks to Arturo, also thanks to Mr. Cullidati, Professor Cullidati, that we have the honor to host his keynote speech to the event of July 2024 when we launch our Learning Innovation Hub. This activities has been set up after 35 years of managerial experience in many sectors, transportation, defense, aerospace, and energy. And I propose to Arturo, to Unimarconi, to set up an hub where we have the possibility to engage one of the major entities on a specific scope, that is artificial intelligence, in particular generative artificial intelligence, and in particular skills and competencies that are the strategic driver of this huge transformation. From the beginning, that was in early 2024, today we have nearly 40 members that represent 35 entities, Italian and international entities. We have the Ministry of Education, CDP, that is the most important state-owned bank and investment bank in Italy, but also many companies and our university, like University of Genoa. And we have the possibility to work together in order to understand how is the impact of artificial intelligence, especially the generative, in the world of labor, and in the process of the companies, and how this can affect the change of the role and the competencies we need to be able to exploit this technology in an ethic and sustainable way. These are the two key words we try to apply. We have issued a strategic document that is, and we have today a new version. I don't know, Arturo, if you have already shared it with them.
Not yet.
This could be that is shaping.
Yes,
yeah,
but not the last version.
Maybe shaping the future, where we have a call to action to Italian government, to European government in three main directions. The first one is to accelerate the introduction of digital education in the primary school in Italy, since the primary school, because this is absolutely, we have the same issue than in Africa. We need to increase the digital competencies in our primary, secondary, and university education system. Second, towards the world of our enterprise. Unfortunately, there is 90% of enterprise are small, medium enterprise. So there is a barrier to understand the potentiality of the use of the digital technologies and artificial intelligence. So we need to invest to involve them in using it. The first one is the fact that the AI is not only the scope of learning, but is one very powerful enabling technology that can make the paradigm of up to now one-to-many, a one-to-one education. This is very important. The other point is the fact that I take the commitment from the shareholder of Unimarconi to develop a strategic plan about artificial intelligence that is strictly integrated to the other two strategic drivers of our university, international development and macro credentials, two topics that has been huge discussed today. And we work to set up an AI learning factory, introducing an AI literacy for all the people that work in Unimarconi, for the students, for, of course, for our teachers. But at the same time, we want to exploit this technology, and this can be another area of joint collaboration, because we are starting to invest in not only in technology but in know-how to develop this opportunity to use to leverage artificial intelligence in order to create this new paradigm of learning that we think it will be the most effective and maybe also efficient. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Luca, for this perfect return about what you do in terms of the AI observatory. That Luca was a massive work in creating it, in implementing it. We owed him, a lot in this respect. And as he said, we are going to, of course, implement AI also in Unimarconi, in the processes, not only the didactic ones, but also the organizational ones, because it's important. And one of the objectives for the next year is to go international. That's why this meeting is also very, very useful in this perspective. I don't know if Christina, you wanted to add something? No? So we have last comment from by Gamar. Gamar Azada is one dear colleague. We just I say just this. We've been to Rwanda, and it was in summer. And after this meeting, we are now about to open this regional center in Kigali. So please, Gamar.
Thank you for this event. And I wanted to mention, after the conference in Rwanda, I witnessed that a lot of young African people, even after completing their degree, they are willing to move. Unfortunately, like we saw Rwanda, how industrial and how beautiful it is. So the aim to complete the degree is to move to another country. Do you think, the question is to Eric, do you think it's also important to see the key aspects of encouraging the young people to stay and invest in their country, because the return on investment in the territory is important. So it would be nice also to encourage socially, mentally, young people to invest in their country itself. What do you think about this?
I think it's the responsibility. No country can develop if their talented people are moving abroad. So it's the responsibility of all leaders in each of our countries to work toward this, not only to avoid that people go, but also that people who are trained abroad return, brain circulation and brain drain. So it's a complex issue which is connected to to the job market, to the industrialization state of the country, but every country is working toward this. At the Pan-African University, my colleagues has mentioned that we are aiming to train job providers and not job seekers. Job provider will also contribute to the retention of the talent in the continent. So definitely, I think from a government perspective, I think the rector can also, he had to have some responsibility at the government. He can strengthen how important is it to have the people skills in the continent to stay and work in the continent. And every country is working toward that. So it's something that I don't need to strengthen, it's an evidence if you are looking of the losses that you have through the migration. It's not even an African problem. In Italy, many people are going to Canada and going to US for better infrastructure, and it's a loss for the. And I think the Canadian government, the Italian government is also working to retain these people. It's a global competition for talent, and I think all countries are aware on that and are working toward that. So I think that is what I can answer. It's not something that I have to say it's an evidence. So I think maybe if the rector could complete, but they were one of the sisters who raised the hand. I think it will be good. It's too good to give her the last, at least if you want to say something. So at least before we close, I saw that you were raising the hand the whole time. Before we close, to give her also the opportunity to raise a question.
Ok, bonjour à tous, je parle plutôt français. Et au fait, le monsieur de derrière avait déjà répondu, a déjà posé la question et que monsieur Eric a déjà répondu. Puisqu'il s'agissait au fait de renforcement de la coopération Afrique-Europe, sur le renforcement justement des capacités, au fait, je me disais, puisque là on parle de l'Afrique, un partenariat Afrique-Europe, est-ce que les gouvernements africains, donc le gouvernement que vous défendez aujourd'hui, a déjà une politique mise en place pour essayer au fait d'accompagner les profils qui sont bons? Quels sont ces profils? Puisque là on parle d'Afrique, les revenus ne sont pas les mêmes. Donc il peut y avoir des profils, un parcours très bien, des gens qui ont été majors de leur promotion, mais qui ont envie de suivre au fait des cours en ligne, mais qui n'ont pas cette possibilité. Est-ce que nous, nos gouvernements, ont une politique mise en place justement pour accompagner? Mais sauf que vous avez déjà répondu par rapport à tout ce que vous avez déjà mis en place. Donc c'était juste au fait, cette petite parenthèse que je voulais apporter.
Merci. Pour aller justement dans votre sens aussi, on peut dire...
Chancel, if you can switch to English, it would be better. Because I don't know if everyone understood what our colleague said before in French. Yes? Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so I just wanted to say we are having at the African Union, there are also frameworks like continental strategy. For instance, on digital education, it's there. And now it's our countries also to take ownership of those big documents at the continental level and try to implement at the national level. But what you have said, actually the framework is there. But the main issue is generally the implementation. Donc la mise en œuvre, c'est ça qui pose problème. Mais le document existe. Sur le plan continental, il y a toute une stratégie qui a été élaborée tout récemment. Et donc c'est au pays vraiment de s'approprier et de mettre en œuvre sur le plan pays. Merci. Oui, la politique, elle est là, au niveau de l'Union africaine, au niveau continental. Maintenant, c'est au pays de s'arrimer un peu sur ce qui a été décidé sur le plan continental et d'essayer d'adapter ça au niveau pays et de mettre en œuvre. Merci.
If you allow me, this is something happening everywhere. And also here in Europe, we have the European strategy that has to be implemented at the country level. It's not easy, at all. So this is happening everywhere. So there are many factors affecting the implementation. The details and a good implementation of policies that are decided at a high level. I think that it was very rich, this session. I'm very happy about that, to be honest. Thank you very much to everybody. Before concluding, there is a special moment that...
Thank you, Arturo, for giving me the floor before closing remark. And let me thank all of you in presence and those in online. And I am sure that this MOU and this roadmap you adopted is very good for Africa. I want to tell you that Africa Union Commission is not a government of Africa. As Chancel told, we design the future of Africa. Africa Union Commission adopted the Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. And the implementation is the role of each African country. And if you understand this, you will know that we can't give some yes to the African government. Each Africa government, each Africa country is independent, and he must work for his people, but thinking about diversity, about gender, about all the politics of Africa Union. And I wish you a happy holidays season. And before your closing remark, we have some little gift for you and for Christina before the closing remark.
Very kind, thank you very much.
Chancel.
Thank you.
Just this is PDU, Pan-African University. You see this five institutes of Africa, Pan-African University, one in Algeria, North Africa, one in West Africa, one in Central Africa, East Africa, and South Africa. Christina.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci à vous. Thank you.
Thank you, Arturo. Thank you. Merci.
Okay, Eric makes a very good suggestion. We are going to close the the session, and then we are going to take a picture, a family picture. I hope that you have found this meeting interesting and fruitful. I think that this collaboration with Pan-African University is far more than an institutional partnership. It's more, as we saw, the implementation of a vision that sees education as a cornerstone for Africa long-term transformation, and digitalization as the accelerator of this transformation in a sustainable way. The initiatives that we mentioned, from the AI toolkit to remote laboratories, are concrete steps in this respect. As highlighted in the strategic concept, Italy has a unique opportunity to be a natural bridge and an educational and cultural hub between the two continents. And of course, Unimarconi is ready to contribute this vision with determination, with competence, experience, and with responsibility as well. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to all our panelists, guests, and to all of you for having attended the meeting. Thank you again, and I wish you a lovely day ahead. Thank you. It's better here. With all of the participants?
Yes, yes, all
The participants are asked to come here in order to make a picture, final picture.
Where do we stay with the table?
Perhaps there.